This show is all about main character energy.
You are listening to the Fatima Scipio Show.
You have the opportunity to do something really big.
Get ready for real conversations, real laughter, and real inspiration.
Hey, beautiful people. Welcome to the show. You ready? Girl. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to the Fatima Scipio Show. I am so glad you are here. Well, it's All-Star Sunday. Where are my basketball girlies? I have to tell you, there was a time when All-Star Weekend was the place to be. Now, is it still popular? Will you be watching? Let me know in the comments. Congratulations to Coach Dawn Staley, who achieved her 500th win. For those of you who don't know, Coach Dawn is a former WNBA player and head coach of the South Carolina Gamecocks. She has won an Olympic gold medal and was inducted into the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame. South Carolina defeated LSU the other night to win their 500th game. And let me tell you something, that is pretty impressive. So keep doing what you're doing, Coach Dawn. We love to see it. Now, listen. On last week's show, I talked a little bit about the Lifetime movie Be Happy, executive produced by Mary J. Blige, inspired by her hit song Be Happy. For those of you who didn't see the movie, Tisha Campbell plays a 50-year-old woman by the name of Val. She is a devoted wife and mother, basically just navigating being an empty nester and loneliness after her two children leave home. She has a daughter who lives in New Orleans with her husband, and then her son is a freshman in college. And so I suppose she was thinking her and her husband were going to turn it all the way up as empty nesters, but her husband, Ross, played by Russell Hornsby, was acting a little bit uninterested. He was basically, very short with her, giving her the cold shoulder, walking around as if she was bothering him. And there was one part in the movie where she was getting herself all sexy, had her little lingerie on, and he was in the garage. She goes into the garage and he's working on a car. And he basically acted like she was invisible, talking about, baby, I got to go do something. So for me, I'm looking at her like, dang, Tisha, like he wanna played you out. It was hard to watch because you could see the pain in her eyes, and I wanted to throw the remote at the back of his head. Okay. As the marriage faltered, Val leaves her husband. She leaves him to visit their daughter in New Orleans. And that sparked a journey to self-discovery and romance for Sister Girl. Yes, I said romance, child. Tisha done went and hooked up with Mackay Pfeiffer, La D. Now look, I don't mean they hooked up literally like the Tisha and Mackay. I'm talking about the characters, and I have to say that because this is social media and I don't need my words to be taken out of context. And I have to say, I should not have been smiling at her getting her groove on with Mackay, but he was basically giving her the attention her husband didn't give her. And so as I watched it, and I just couldn't stop thinking about how much we as women give of ourselves to our families, to our work, to everyone who depends on us. And it got me to wondering, how many women quietly wrestle with redefining who they are once the children are grown and the house gets quiet? Who are you when you're no longer needed in the same way? Who are you beyond the roles we've mastered so well? And so today we're having that conversation. But before we do, where are my lifetime snobs? Did you see the dating app killer, the Monica White story? So, this movie was based on a true story directed by Elizabeth Rome and starring none other than Layla Rashone, who played Monica White. Y'all know Layla Vachon. She played in Harlem Nights, Boomerang, one of my absolute favorite movies of all time. And she played in Waiting to Exhale, amongst other notable movies. But side note, did y'all know that Waiting to Exhale turned 30 back in December? Yeah, I'm gonna do a special episode on that. But back to Layla. So she played Monica White, a woman who connects with a serial killer on a dating app. Now, I've heard wild stories about dating apps, but this was horrifying and I don't want to spoil it, but we will definitely touch on dating in the tech era because I want to hear from you all. We'll talk about it on next week's show. So, put some comments in so we can catch you up. So be ready. So I was scrolling on social media and I saw a young woman like having a meltdown. I mean, the girl was boo-hoo crying. That's what actually grabbed my attention. But she was having a meltdown after she paid thousands of dollars for an old Mercedes she purchased on Facebook Marketplace. Now, yes, I said Facebook Marketplace. So basically, she says that the car broke down before she even got home. I mean, homegirl, she had the ugly cry going on and said that, I can't win for losing. Now, girl, if I could talk to this young lady, the first thing I would have asked her is why? Why would you purchase a luxury car on Facebook? And in my opinion, this says more about her decision making than anything else. And in my opinion, some of our young sisters can benefit from guidance from seasoned women. Oftentimes, if you are not in college or if you are, yeah, not in college, you may not have that caring adult that can school you and educate you on things, right? And so a lot of these young women are left to figure things out on their own. And I feel like we have to change that. We have to change that. I don't know how, I don't know the solution, but I know that something needs to be done because had she had that in her life, and if she had a willingness to listen to sound advice, she could have saved herself thousands of dollars, time, and energy. And so I hope everything worked out for her. I know that this was such a expensive lesson, but yeah, we need to change how we are engaging young women who are not in college because I believe that college students, they have a support system around them. So yeah. So y'all ready to go to the moon? If so, what you wearing? Because Elon Musk said SpaceX will build a system that allows anyone to travel to the moon in Mars. For those who don't know, SpaceX is a company founded by Elon Musk to develop technology that has the potential to change the course of life on Earth and beyond. So he did a social media post and basically he said um, that SpaceX has already shifted focus to building a self-growing city on the moon. Now, he believes that this can be done in less than 10 years. Now, Elon, E to the lawn. What are we talking about here? Look, I've seen the movie Alien, Elon, and so I'm going to need you to think this through a little bit better. Because what? Look, I don't know. I may need to mind my earthly business, Elon. So what do y'all think? Would you go to the moon if they started selling travel packages? Can you imagine? I mean, look, I'm keeping my eyes open on this because if nothing else, there may be some business opportunities. And I always got my eyes open for some type of opportunities. And so, speaking of technology, people are out here telling Chat GPT all of their business. And they have essentially made Chat GPT their best friend. And look, we know that AI is powerful, it's helpful, and it can save you time. But that doesn't mean you tell it everything about your life. So, look, don't tell chat your address, social security number, and passwords. And yeah, it sounds wild that I have to say this, but people have been doing these things trying to, I don't know, put in these different prompts that's, add in these details. So, yeah, don't give them your personal information. Don't give any financial details, bank accounts, even if you're asking it to be your personal financial advisor. Don't give it any bank accounts, credit cards, PIN numbers, investment stuff. Don't give it any medical information. You may go to the doctor and you don't understand what the doctor is saying. So you start looking up your diagnoses, and that leads from one thing to the next. And so don't put any work related materials. Maybe you get an internal email and you want to be proactive and respond appropriately. So you put the full email in there for a chat to tell you what to say. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't put any contracts or client files, any private documents. Just don't upload what isn't yours to share. And then lastly, don't anything illegal or harmful. Don't ask about any scams. Don't ask how to hack. No shortcuts. I mean, these are things that can potentially cost you later. So in other words, be smart about how you are using these tools. Okay, they're meant to be a sidekick. And even though they're your sidekick, you don't give it all of the information. All right. So, anywho, can I be transparent? Look, I'm the type of person that gives 100% when I'm committed to doing something and when I'm committed to something. And when I became a wife and a mother, my family became my top priority. For me, it meant being emotionally, physically, and spiritually available for my family. And there was and is nothing wrong with that. I loved it. I mean, I just really, really loved and love, taking care of my family. And then I became the mother of a college student, dropping him off to college and coming home to a quiet house hit me a little bit different. So when I watched the movie Be Happy, I immediately connected to some of the main character's experiences as it related to getting reacquainted with myself and exploring parts of myself that I had essentially put to the side when I became a wife and mother. And let me be clear, all of this was self imposed, right? But I watched and it got me to wondering how many women quietly wrestle with redefining who they are once the children are grown and the house gets quiet. Who are you when you're no longer needed in the same way? Who are you beyond the roles we've mastered so well? This is not just about a movie. This is about real life, real women, real marriages, and real questions like who am I now? Where did I go? And when did I put myself on hold? Do you remember that time when it happened? Do you remember the exact moment? If you've ever loved everybody so well that you forgot yourself, this is the conversation that needs to be had. In the movie, we see a woman who, by all accounts, she did everything right. She showed up, she sacrificed, she supported, raised her children, held the house down. And one day, the house is quiet. The kids are gone. The routine is gone. The noise gone. And she's sitting there like, okay, now what? There was no crisis. There was no cheating. There was no screaming matches, just emotional distance. And that's real. Most relationships don't end in explosions, despite what you see on television or on social media. Most relationships end in silence. They end in people growing apart quietly. They end in two people living parallel lives under one roof. And you don't often hear people talking about how to navigate that. Let's be honest. A lot of women build their identity around service, being a good mother, wife, daughter, employee, entrepreneur, churchgoer, being a pillar in the community. And we get praised for that. But nobody asks, are you happy? We're celebrated for being strong. So we keep giving until one day you don't recognize yourself. You look in the mirror and you are not that 20-year-old little tenderoni Bobby Brown was singing about. Okay? The clothes don't fit like they used to. For me, it was just a few months ago. I went to the doctor, and when I tell you that I got on a scale and that thing said 190, 190 pounds, girl, I was like, what? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I mean, I felt fine, but that weight was my body begging me for a reset. And look, I'm proud to brag that today I am 165 pounds, child. Yes, I am. And I'm proud of myself. Now, I want to get to 150, 155. So I got 10 more pounds to go. But I know there are many who, in theory, are presenting to be fine, but they are not feeling alive. Something is begging for a reset. I do believe, in my opinion, that that is a signal. It's a signal your soul is asking for attention. And here's the thing, many women don't lose themselves overnight, they lose themselves in pieces. You be like, girl, when you starting that business? Oh, I'll wait until the kids get older. You be like, girl, you going on that self-care day? Oh no, I canceled it. I'll do it later. And I will tell you, I was guilty of that, you know. Or you like, girl, you want to go out? No, no, I'm just waiting for retirement. Once I retire, then I'll do it. I'll do it later. Over and over and over again until later never comes. This isn't just about being busy though. It's about disappearing while still being present. It's about becoming a supporting character in your own life story. You wake up one day and you realize you can't remember the last time you did something just because it made you happy. You say, I'm fine, so often that you've started to believe it even when you're not. Can some of you relate? In the weight of all of that, it's invisible to everyone else because you carry it so well. But we don't talk about it. We pray about it. We work through it. We suck it up. We keep it moving because we've been taught that good women sacrifice, that strong women endure, that selfless women don't complain. But here's what nobody tells you: you can be a good woman and prioritize yourself. You can be strong and need support. You can be selfless and still deserve care. The problem for some isn't that you loved your family too much. The problem is that somewhere along the way, you learned that loving them well meant loving yourself less. And that's the lie we need to unlearn. Because the truth is, you cannot pour from an empty cup. And pretending the cup is full doesn't fill it. I think, like my mother, I think she did a great job with balancing her family and herself. She traveled, she hung out with her girlfriends, she was active in church, she worked her full time job, she got 2 master's degrees, all while raising 4 children. And I've always admired that about my mom. So, look, I'm big on solutions. And I believe that reclaiming your happiness isn't about overhauling your entire life overnight. It's about intentional steps that honor who you are now, right? So, here are 5 practical ways to reclaim your happy. Number 1, reclaim 30 minutes a day. I believe every woman needs sacred time. Every woman listening needs sacred time, not for housework, not for work, not for helping others, for you. YOU. 30 minutes, that's it. You can read, walk, journaling, praying, learn something new. Just simply rest. Put it on your calendar, make an appointment with yourself. And when guilt tries to creep in, remember this: taking care of yourself isn't taking away from anyone else. It's ensuring you have something left to give. Number 2, redefine your identity. Ask yourself this powerful question: who am I when nobody needs me? Not who you were, not who people expect you to be, but who are you right now in this season? So for me, I'm in my tech era. I'm in my tech era. I'm learning all about AI. I'm learning about what's to come in the future. I'm really fascinated by it and I truly enjoy it. You need to define what season you're in. What do you enjoy? What excites you? What do you want to learn? And just start building you again. Take that class, start the business, join the group, travel, right? Create. You are allowed to evolve. You are allowed to grow beyond the roles you filled. You are allowed to become more. Number 3, if you are in a marriage or partnership, learn to communicate your truth. Many women stay silent to keep peace in their relationship, but silence doesn't create peace, it creates distance. Start saying things like, I'm feeling disconnected and, I want us to reconnect. You could say, if you feeling like you need some emotional support, just say, I need more emotional support right now. And, if you're not okay, say, I'm not okay. And I can't keep pretending that I am. Healthy love welcomes honesty. Yes, yes, yes. I'm not going to lie. It can sting sometimes. But when it's rooted in love and it's delivered with care, the sting, it doesn't last long. And the healing that follows, it's worth it. And for my single mothers, I see you. I see your strength And I want you to know that your voice matters just as much, even when there's no partner in your home. You are carrying the load that wasn't meant to be carried alone. And somewhere along the way, you may have learned to silence your own needs, because at the end of the day, you're in your mind, you like, who else gonna do it? Who else is gonna handle everything? And so I get it. But just start by speaking your truth to yourself first. Start with checking in with yourself regularly. Communicate your boundaries with your children, age appropriately, of course. Your children, they don't they don't need to carry adult burdens, but they can learn that mommy needs her time too. And mommy just needs 20 minutes. Number 4, build a support circle. Every woman needs that friend that you can tell the truth, that friend who listens and who prays and who laughs with you. Stop trying to be strong alone. And if it's been a while since you've connected with friends because of your super full life, reconnect. Check in. If you haven't spoken in a while, make lunch and dinner dates. Now, let's be clear, with all of this and with anything, you should use discernment with who you share your life experiences with. Talking about your relationship to others should definitely be handled with care, and you have to protect it at all cost. Number 5, invest in your growth. If you need therapy, do it. Take the courses, read the books, take up a new hobby. You never know what can come out of these things. Maybe new ideas can spark. And so today, make a commitment to choose you, darlings, because choosing yourself is not selfish, it's responsible. It makes you a better mother, a better partner, a better leader, a better woman. And look, it's never too late to reclaim it. And in the great words of Mary J. Blige, the queen of R&B soul, be happy. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time on the Fatima Scipio Show.